Hello guys, and Lithuania from Kaunas, and well, today it appears that I've brought the traditional classic British weather with me. It's the 30th of March, we're nearly into April, and yeah, it's looking a bit grey and it's also raining. So when I left the house it wasn't raining, it then started raining, and in true British fashion I didn't come prepared because I'm just wearing a hoodie. But anyway, today I thought I'd make a video looking back at my time in Kaunas in Lithuania so far. So I'm approaching 6 months of living in Lithuania. It's my first time living abroad as well, so it's a new experience for me just in general. And yeah, I thought I'd look at kind of some of the things I've been up to in my time in Lithuania, as well as maybe some of the challenges I've encountered in, I suppose, what's a difficult time, not just for someone moving abroad for the first time, but obviously in this COVID kind of pandemic. So yeah, I'm going to show you a little bit of what I've been up to and some of the challenges I've faced. So I hope you enjoy the video as always. In my first month in Lithuania, I had to isolate for 10 days before I was let loose. I made my first video where I spoke rather nervously about Smaliniki. Shortly after, I moved into Kaunas. I started getting to know the city and also made another video showing some of Kaunas landmarks. During my second month in Lithuania, everything was still pretty normal. All cafes and restaurants were closed, but all the shops were open. Travelling was still possible. I managed to visit Klaipėda, a lovely city I hope to go back to. I also bought my drone and used it for the first time in my Yogagas video. In this month, I made a couple of really good friends, Rokas and Lucas. Rokas actually accompanied me on my Klaipėda video. Unfortunately, however, towards the end of this month, the Lithuanian government introduced a pretty strict lockdown as the COVID situation had spiraled out of control. Travelling and meeting friends was about to become impossible. Whilst month 3 was challenging, I started to film my Lithuanian language learning journey, as well as telling the whole world 5 things I love about Lithuania. Due to the COVID restrictions in place, I actually ended up spending Christmas and New Year with my fiancée Neringa in Valencia, because it was going to be too difficult for her to come back to Lithuania at that time. It was also hard to be apart from my family as well, and I haven't seen them since October. The travel ban was actually extended in this time, so I had to think of new things to film. This led me to explore a lot more about the history of Lithuania. The 4th month was pretty productive for me. I kept making videos about Lithuanian history, and I also managed to head back to Smaliniki, as the Lithuanian government allowed bubbles, where you could join up with another household if you were basically a single person household. I also really smashed through learning Lithuanian in this month, as by the end of month 4 I had done 8 Lithuanian language videos. In month 5 things started to get exciting. I went swimming in a frozen lake, as well as enjoying Kaunas' finest kibinai. We were also allowed to leave our cities, but only to go to places in our local districts. I took a look at Domeikava, just outside of Kaunas. And here I am, I've made it to my 6th month in Lithuania. This last month has been pretty productive really. I managed to visit a couple of new villages and get back into rural Lithuania, possibly my favourite place in the whole world. At the time of recording this, there's currently a travel ban in place in Lithuania, so we can't get out of our kind of districts again, but hopefully that will end soon and I'll be able to explore more of this beautiful country. So guys, I told you I'd talk a little bit about the challenges as well of having been in Lithuania for 6 months. And to be honest, I think the major one is probably what everyone's going to expect, right? It was to do with COVID, and obviously that maybe feeling a little bit lonely, especially moving to a place where you don't have any you know, any real friends. You've you know, you've got to start afresh. There's no one to meet up with. But I think that's the same for kind of pretty much everyone in COVID time, really. No one's been able to meet up with the friends, have they? So I don't really think it's actually been that difficult for me. There's been occasionally maybe the odd language challenge, but you know, I kind of embrace that. I live in Lithuania. You've got to try and learn Lithuanian, haven't you? And honestly, I've never really had any major issues. I think the only time was maybe when I was ordering a bus ticket and the woman didn't understand where I was saying I wanted to go or something stupid, and then I wrote it down for her. So really, no major challenges, I've got to be honest. I've really enjoyed it. Obviously, it's been hard being away from my fiance, being away from my family in England, but kind of, you know, I actually want to say thank you to a few people in particular for kind of having welcomed and looked after me so much in Lithuania. So first of all, Neringa's parents, Jonas and Raimonda, who've really looked after me, and also a couple of my friends in Kaunas, Rokas and Lucas, who have also been, you know, so helpful and so nice, and you know, I've had to spend some really good times with both of them. So yeah, just feel very, very blessed and lucky to have spent 6 months now in probably one of the world's most beautiful countries that never really gets talked about. No one talks about Lithuania as being that, but it is such a stunning place. And if you get that chance, that opportunity to come to this fantastic country, then take it, because you won't regret it. Okay, so yeah, so on that note, Achula bye, Visogero, goodbye from me from Kaunas.